All right, let's talk Florida State Seminoles football. Look, this time of year is obviously an exciting time as we work our way through spring ball. We're starting to see what new additions to every program, specifically Florida State in this instance, are really making a name for themselves. Who's really standing out above the pack? And it looks like there's one playmaker in particular, a guy who maybe didn't get a lot of the headlines, but looks like he's really, really accelerating past the competition, if you will. Let's get right into this report, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. Jaylen Lucas is the man in question here, who set Florida State's team record for miles per hour on the GPS tracking system earlier this spring. It's either 22.6 or 22.9. Both numbers are a tier above Trey Benson, regarded for his build-up speed as a top prospect in this year's draft class, who hit 22.3 in a game last season. The diminutive running back transfer has rapidly raced into the imagination of FSU coaches as they're going to spend this summer daydreaming of ways to get Lucas the ball in 2024. From off the radar to speedy standout, Lucas is Knowles 24/7's 2024 King of the Spring. We're really excited about what he brings, Coach Mike Norvell said earlier this spring. His versatility, what he can do out of the backfield to be able to move around. We were excited with him coming in, but I just love the mentality of the work ethic, the speed, the acceleration are things that show up on a consistent basis, but it's his 1-2. He comes out every day, every rep, pushing to be the best. It's exciting to see the growth. All right, listen, there's an old saying, you can't coach speed, right? And there's something you just if a guy is that fast, and it's what the old Florida Gators teams under Urban Meyer were, they're just that fast, you just can't come up with an answer for them. And it looks like that's what Florida State has here right now in Lucas. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but Florida State fans first in the comment section below. As a lot of you are probably well aware of, the NFL draft is just a few short days away. And so in the comment section, I want you to give me your favorite Florida State player that went on to be a first round pick in the NFL draft. There's literally about 5 million of them, including one current head coach for the Colorado Buffs who may be at the top of your list. But whoever it is, give us your favorite Florida State player who went on to be a first round draft pick in the comment section below. But Miles, give me your thoughts on Lucas and just everything with this Florida State program right now.
Yeah, Nick, I think Lucas is a very interesting prospect coming into this year for Florida State. Transferred over from Indiana, he just shows that he is a strong, strong player in many different aspects. I think he came over, and a lot of people, like you said, kind of wrote him off. No one thought about it. But when his elite top end speed was shown, like the article alluded to, people are just dreaming about ways to get him the ball. I think it's really interesting as well because his brother plays for Florida State, Ja'Kai Douglas. So there's that aspect, a little family rivalry on the football field is always kind of nice. But you see things, and I think two things stand out to me about Lucas. It's his confidence and his toughness. He is not a big guy. He's like, they say 5'9", he's probably like 5'8", 175. He's kind of tiny for a running back, but he is very, very fast. His coaches say, oh, he thinks he's 8 feet tall. That's what they love about him. He'll square up with any defender. He'll try to run you over. Nonetheless, he does get beat up a little bit just because he's small. They say, he breaks big runs and then DBs will throw him to the ground. This is a guy who pops right back up every time after every play. He's got that spunk. He's got the fire about him. And he shows that he is very determined to make himself a big time role player on this Florida State team. As of right now, it's looking like he's going to be relegated to maybe a kick returner, punt returner, and gadget play guy. But I think he wants to be more than that. And offensive coordinator Atkins also thinks that he could do that. And he goes on to kind of say it later in the article. He talks about, Lucas thinks that he can play every position. He can play kick returner, punt returner, running back, wide receiver, quarterback. And Atkins goes on to say he probably can if he wanted to. They just think that this is a guy who is very, very interesting piece for this program. And like they said, they're going to try to get him the ball as much as possible. But the main thing we're seeing right now, until they can try to work him into the offense, is special teams. And I think you bring something really special in that regard, mainly because last season that he was 12th nationally in yards per return with 26 yards per return. The year before that, he was 4th nationally with 28.14 yards per turn. This is a guy who's an elite special teams returner. He really racks up the yards, and I think he's going to be a very good asset for this team. And I also just really keep your eye on him. I think we're going to see Lucas popping out of the backfield on some counter type runs, something to really just get him in motion in the backfield, try to use that elite level speed. But I really am excited to see what he's able to do this season because I think he's going to surprise a lot of teams.
When I watched him a little bit at Indiana and you read about him, and look, he doesn't have the physical dimensions of the Florida Gator, former Florida Gator Percy Harvin. I know Florida State fans are like, why are you bringing up Percy Harvin? But if you look at his skill set and what he can bring to special teams in an offense, it's very similar to your point, Miles. He's not going to be a guy that's an every down running back or an every down receiver, but he definitely has the return skills, and he definitely has the ability in certain situations, speed sweeps, reverses, gadget plays, vertical strikes down the field, maybe some slip screens, a lot of different things here where he can just get the ball in his hands every once in a while. And if a defense isn't 100% prepared, he's gone. Right. And that kind of instant playmaking, right? That lightning in a bottle cliche we hear announcers talk about all the time. That can be incredibly valuable because sometimes in big games, which Florida State's obviously they're going to be really good. They're going to be in a lot of them. But sometimes things aren't going to go your way. You need a spark, right? You need something to just get some energy, get some juice, flip the momentum, right? And this is a guy right here in Lucas who threw a big return, through a speed sweep that goes for 30 yards, right? Just through his sheer speed that no other opposing coach or player can account for, can just flip that switch and create a big play out of nothing. And that just gives Florida State just another advantage. Because one of the things that can happen to these really talented teams, and we see it from the Ohio State Buckeyes a few times, when they get out of their rhythm a little bit because they're so used to being so explosive and methodical on offense, it can get ugly because they just feel discombobulated. One thing that Lucas can do to help Florida State is that when they enter those moments, which all teams do inevitably, especially if you have talent, it allows them to get out of it with a big time return to get the offense great field position or a quick slip screen for 30 yards, right? Just the ability to flip that script and get that momentum going again. That's what Lucas can bring to the table. And while he won't, get a million catches and a million yards, he'll have enough big plays, I truly believe, over the 2024 season and likely beyond to make it well worth Florida State's while picking him up as a transfer.
Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, email, home address, health records, even your relatives. It's all out there. That's why we use Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows us which data brokers are selling our information and automatically submits opt-out requests for us.
Cleaning up our information not only reduces the amount of that stupid spam we all get, but it also protects us from hackers who could use this information to help them access our social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. Aura also does much more to protect us and our families from online threats. We also get features like antivirus protection, VPNs, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. That's really key. One location, get all this great stuff. It's really easy to set up. And the best of all, we get everything at one affordable price.
You may already have one or two of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. Aura is always on doing the hard work of keeping us safe so you can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. We value our privacy and we also value yours. So go to aura.com/SMI college to start your 2-week free trial. Again, linked in the description below. Go to aura.com/SMI college to start your 2-week free trial today.